and he knows that his family is slipping away, and still he cannot stop. So what the hell is going on? Why would a man choose submission to a boss over saving his own marriage? Welcome. In today's episode, we're going to tackle something so vital to a man's mental and relationship health, and that is his own father wound. His own wound from his own childhood, from his own father that he doesn't even know that he has. And this is how it often presents itself. When I get somebody, a man coming in my clinical practice, this is a common scenario I see. They're often men who they're killing themselves at work. They're doing everything right. They're showing up early, staying late, and they keep taking on more and more. And hearing from the boss, you know what? You are such a valuable team player. You are next in line for that promotion. So you're made to believe that all this grinding is going to pay off. Except, as time goes on, it never does. And this is the kicker. At home, this man's marriage is going to hang on by a thread. His kids are barely seeing him. His body is breaking down from stress, but he keeps on going. He tells himself he has to, that this is just what it takes to be successful, even though deep down he knows. He knows he's being used. He knows he's also running on empty, and he knows that his family is slipping away, and still he cannot stop. So what the hell is going on? Why would a man choose submission to a boss over saving his own marriage? Because this isn't just about workaholism. I want you to hear this. It's not just about bad boundaries. This is the father wound playing out in real time. And if you don't see it for what it is, by giving away too much, you're going to destroy the most important thing that actually matters, your own personal life. Let's now talk about Jeremy's struggle with this narcissistic boss, okay? Let's imagine that Jeremy walks into my counseling office, and he looks like he hasn't slept in days. He just plops into the chair, lets out this long, exhausted sigh that I've seen so often from men. I don't get it, he says. I take on extra work. I do everything right. My boss says I'm valuable, but nothing is actually happening for me to get ahead. And then he pauses, looks at me, and he says, and my wife is so pissed. She says I'm never there. She got to cut me slack. I'm working. I'm doing my best. She says that I'm checked out even when I'm home. She accuses me in saying that you are letting your boss walk all over you. When he's done, I ask him this, well, do you think she's right? And he looks at me and he nods. He knows the truth. And then I ask, why aren't you setting some limits with your boss? Now, of course, in session, I ask it a little more gently, right, than here. Why aren't you setting some limits with your boss? And this is what I see. Someone like him, his eyes are going to drop to the floor. And then he says this one thing that tells me everything. Because if I say no, I don't know who I am anymore. See, this was never about the boss. This is about the first man who was never there for him as a child. This man, Jeremy. Jeremy's father was not there for him. Jeremy's father, he drank too much. He came home, was unpredictable, never really saw Jeremy at all, except when he needed a punching bag. Not physically, but with his words. And then his father would say things like, why are you so damn soft? You think life is supposed to be easy? Man up, stop whining, stop wanting anything. And Jeremy, he first remembered hearing these words when he was just 4 years old. All he wanted was for his dad to see him, to spend time with him. And instead, he spent his entire childhood waiting for his dad to show up the way he saw other fathers doing to his friends, waiting for just one moment where his father would be proud of him, but it never came. But that didn't stop Jeremy from trying. He worked harder, thinking if only I get the better grades, Dad will pay attention. If I do everything right, maybe Dad will notice. And when it didn't work, Jeremy blamed himself. He incorporated this belief, well, maybe I'm just not good enough. You see, His father was a narcissist who resented even being a father. Instead, he loved being out. He loved partying. He had no conscience even about cheating on his mother. So even as a little boy, Jeremy ended up consoling his mother when she got lonely, when she was hurt, when she felt neglected or rejected. Now, fast forward 30 years, and Jeremy's father, he's gone. He's out of the picture. But Jeremy's need for validation is still there. And now, Jeremy's boss has stepped into that role perfectly. A narcissistic boss who knows exactly how to exploit this, how to use and abuse this father wound that so many men carry. See, these are the things. The narcissistic boss is going to give you just enough praise or promise of a better future to keep you hooked. They're going to make you crave their approval, and they're going to make you feel like you have to earn your place, and not just the place you're at, the place you're promised that may never come your way, but you're made to believe it will. And just like that, Jeremy is in an adult body. He's 7 years old again, still chasing the man who's never going to give him what he wants, never going to give him what he needs. So why doesn't Jeremy just say no? This is what you need to know. This is what science, the research I've studied and that I've practiced with clients to help them break free. It's because his nervous system will not let him. This isn't just his mind. It's not just his emotions. This isn't about logic. It's not about willpower. It's trauma. Trauma that is wired deep within his nervous system. And neuroscience calls this the freeze-fawn response. Freeze-fawn response. They pair together. So the first thing is freeze. The moment Jeremy thinks about pushing back, his body locks up. Just like did with it when he was a kid, right? His chest tightens. His brain panics, but there's this kind of frozen anxiety that sets in. Like you're in a state of shock with no way out. And then he moves to fawn, because fawn gives him a job to do. So instead of trying to figure out what to do with these sensations, he appeases. He gives. He becomes pleasing. He overworks. He overgives, even to the point of exhaustion, with nothing left to give his family when he gets home. Because his body has been wired to prioritize this male approval over everything, even at the cost of his own marriage, even when his wife is ready to walk out the door, even when he knows he's being abused. Because deep down, his biggest fear is actually not losing his wife. It's being invisible. I want you to hear that. His biggest fear isn't about losing his wife. It's being invisible, because that was the biggest child wound, right? Now, if Jeremy's story hits home, I want you to ask yourself these three things. Okay? Ask yourself these three things. Who in my life am I working way too hard to impress? Who in my life am I working way too hard to impress? Number two, when was the last time I put work over my marriage and family? When was the last time I put work over my marriage or family? And number three, what would it cost me to finally say no? Now, if you're struggling to answer these, you know what? You already know the answer. And if you don't do something about it, this cycle is going to keep on controlling you. Men, we don't talk about this. We need to. We're trained to talk about instead hustle. We got to grind. We got to talk about success. But we don't talk about how so many men are breaking their backs, still chasing validation from men who are never going to truly be there for you. I want you to hear this. Masculinity was never meant to be submissive. Not to anyone. It was never meant to be killing yourself for the approval of another man while your family suffers. So if this kind of teaching today has shaken something loose in you, okay? If you're looking at your own life and thinking, this is me, then let's team up. Because breaking free isn't just about reading a book on how to set boundaries. It's about healing that father wound that made you think you had to earn your worth in the first place. I want you to do this. I want you to sign up to get free weekly insights at smartempath.com/newsletter. I want to see you start untangling this. Insight alone is not going to change this. You need specialized help. And by joining me weekly, you're going to learn the path that you can take to set yourself free, to finally heal, and to be there for the ones you love without stress, without guilt. And if you're ready today, and you want to make the change, join me now. SmartEmpath.com/newsletter. And together, find a way to be a part of the Smart Empath family of so many people already today learning to break free, learning to be an individual and navigate the world in a way that meets your needs and still gets the job done, still makes you be prosperous. And, the link to this newsletter is also in the bio to this very teaching. So let's take a big breath together. If you've gone through any of this, I feel for you. I know what it's like. I've carried that father wound myself. Oh my God. A sadistic, narcissistic father. I know what it's like. But I also know what it's like to be free. And I know what it's like to help so many people to release from that and to never again be a slave to those kind of things. Because remember, masculinity was never meant to be submissive. So until next time, learn to be strong and stay love without compromise. May peace be with you.